welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
Sam Master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes. Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojotalk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. We are on episode number 145. As always, you can give this podcast a listen on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. Hit us up on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page as well as the Instagram page. And you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Serial Sensei. And as always, I'm joined with my co-host, the Anti-Cool. What's going on, man?
My feet hurt.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
been hiking, walking? Was it just
Basketball.
Oh, okay.
So I've basically played basketball since I could walk. I think it's the first time it's ever given me blisters. So
I'm getting old, man. Are you just shooting around, or are you running like a
No. I actually played in.
Oh, you ran like a pickup game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is. It's rough. It's rough.
I think I just need new shoes because I would stop, but my feet would keep going inside my shoe, and I think you know what I think is I think I lost a bunch of weight, and my shoe size went down without me realizing it.
I was gonna say you might just need a shoe with some more little more grip at the bottom.
It could be that. But yeah, other than that, I'm fine. I mean, I just got to watch an absolute classic of a title fight.
Oh boy, yeah, guys.
One of the greatest UFC women's title fights of all time, at least in the top three.
One of the most technical performances of our lifetime.
Truly awe-inspiring.
The entire time I was watching that fight, I was just envisioning Joey just screaming at the TV.
I mean, you could tell he was not happy.
It's like Joey is throwing everything in the living room at the TV. Oh, man. But, yeah, just to provide some context for this episode, we are recording this the night of UFC Uruguay, so it is currently 11:53 p.m. Also, if my voice sounds a bit off, said there's like the last 3 episodes, but I'm still sick. It's getting better. I know it doesn't sound like it, but like during the day, I'm fine. Like I'm okay, and then like at night, it's like, you know, everything crashes down, and then I start coughing, and I get congested, and it's not a good time. Not a good time. But I'm gonna make it through this podcast. My right nostril is clogged up. I'm gonna try not to cough. We'll see how that works. But as always, before we get started, thank yous and shout outs to all the listeners, Twitter people, Tumblr people, wherever you're at in the world. We appreciate you. Top cities for the week as far as listeners: number 1, Everett, Washington; number 2, San Francisco, California; number 3, Corpus Christi, Texas; number 4, Dubai. What up to y'all? And number 5, I'm probably gonna butcher this. Loxahatchee, Florida. I definitely said that wrong. It's not my fault. You guys have a weird name, but I appreciate y'all. But do something about that name. That's a lot to say. But appreciate you guys. You know, keep sharing, retweet, share with a neighbor, friend, coworker, manager. Right before like you're about to get fired at your job and they want you to leave, just tell them to listen to this real quick. They might kick
Just put on the speaker.
Yeah, Put it on the speaker. They might kick you out quicker, but that's not the point.
I mean, you're already fired.
Right. Yeah. So you can do us that solid before you leave. Just do us that solid before they kick you off the premises. Just spread this over the speaker. So, but appreciate you guys for listening. As far as today's episode, pretty light. There were other fight cards that happened during the week. PFL had a card. I want to say LFA had a card. Invicta had a card, but I didn't get a chance to watch any of them. I'll give Invicta a brief mention. I'm honestly, guys, I'm probably just going to skip PFL unless you have anything you want to say about it, because I like PFL and I like what they're doing, but an entire card of light heavyweights and heavyweights, I'm okay on that. Like, I watched like the first 2 fights, I think, and then I just kind of like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. Just gonna go pick up my Switch and play Smash Brothers and do something else with the rest of my night. But I'll give Invicta a mention. So I like Invicta. So, but before we get to that, news and notes for the week. Pretty light week in terms of news and notes, but there are some quality, I'd say, in terms of fight announcements. Not a ton of fights announced, but the ones that did get announced were all pretty good. So running from the top, UFC Tampa, we have a trio of fights being announced. One of the biggest, Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Michelle Waterson. That'll be the headliner of UFC Tampa. And then also on that card, we'll have Davison Figueiredo versus Tim Elliott. And also Ryan Spann versus Devin Clark. I think we talked about this fight before, but just a quick rehash. I'm pretty sure none of our feelings have changed since then. On Joanna versus Waterson. Still sticking with Joanna.
Yeah. Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
No, I don't see where Waterson has the advantage. She's probably not gonna take Joanna down. The only woman who's been able to do that so far has been Corey Gadella and Valentina Shevchenko, 2 women who are obscenely stronger than Michelle Waterson. So,
Yeah, same old. Yeah, pretty much same old. Like, normally when I look at fight matchups, I try to envision how each fighter can win or path to victory, how they can get a finish. And I don't. I like Waterson a lot, but I don't see it. I don't know where or how she gets the finish. But I mean, crazier things have happened, so I'm not gonna write her off. But if I'm a betting man, I gotta go with Joanna. But that'll be going down at UFC Tampa. Corey Anderson, who got a few mentions on this podcast either last week or the week before, he will be fighting Johnny Walker at UFC 244. Do you think if Walker wins, or you think we're bumping him up? Or not, I say we, but you think they were going to bump him up to a title shot?
Oh, hell yeah. Who else is what is left? Is Jan Blachowicz next theoretically, and Corey Anderson, who probably only didn't get the Jones fight because he turned down 30 other fights, and Dominic Reyes, who's win over Volkan Oezdemir probably hurt his stock more than anything.
My first thought when I saw this fight announced was, boy, would this be a terrible way to find out who Johnny Walker is, and we see him get taken down for 3 rounds.
I am fully ready to see Johnny Walker get his ass handed to him for 2.5 rounds, and then he hits a jumping, spinning back kick to Corey Anderson in the 5th minute of the 3rd round and manages to get the win. Because that's how Corey Anderson loses fights. In the last 15 seconds of every single one of them.
Yeah, something about that fight has me a little nervous. I'm going for Walker, but Corey's been putting it all together lately. I'm like, boy, this would be such a buzzkill. I don't want to hate on Corey, but it could happen. But we'll see. That'll be going down at UFC 244. At UFC 243, we'll have Holly Holm rematching Raquel Pennington. I don't really have any thoughts on that fight. Cool, I guess. it's a thing. I don't have any in-depth analysis.
I don't think Raquel wins it because like she had the first fight was really competitive, but Pennington's just not that fighter anymore. Like it seems like her confidence and her durability and all that other good stuff that made her so scrappy is just like not gone completely, but it's definitely not there in the same volume as it was before. So, but then again, maybe Holly Holm, after getting knocked out, just like takes the nosedive off the cliff. She is like almost 40 years old. So,
well, we'll see. Next fight, really interesting. Zabit Magomedsheripov versus Calvin Kattar. This will be going down at UFC Boston. Who you got in this one?
I got Kattar.
Yeah, this is one of those fights where like I could see Zabit possibly doing well for like a round and a half, and then like Kattar just kind of figures him out, because Zabit does kind of like a lot of wild stuff. Maybe Zabit clips him or something, catch him with something crazy in the first round, but he doesn't like put him out. And like second round, like Kattar just kind of puts it together and just starts to go to work.
I mean, we've seen Zabit fade down the stretch. Kattar is like a dude who seems to just get better as the fight goes along, as long as you're not like kicking his legs. Like, I'm curious how Zabit handles the jab, because Kattar might have the best one at featherweight right now, besides maybe like Max, but that dude's jab is for real. And it sets up so much of his offense, and I could see Magomedsheripov like circling, like trying to like slip a jab and circling into like a head kick or a right hand or something.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like as much as like Zabit is kind of very like he's wild and he's creative. Kattar is like he's clean, man. Like everything he throws, like it's clean. It's gonna be a good fight though. That's gonna be a really good fight. I'm probably gonna edge. I'm gonna edge Kattar too, also on that one. But that'll be going down at UFC Boston, and then at UFC Copenhagen. Oh no, sorry. Actually, you know what? I'll mention it anyway. UFC Copenhagen. Nicholas Dalby is back in the UFC. He was in Cage Warriors, right? Was it Cage Warriors?
Yeah, he was prior to being signed to the UFC the first time. I don't know where he's been since. He probably went back to Cage Warriors.
Cage Warriors. Because I watched a couple of his fights over there. He had a couple of pretty good scraps over there. So he's back in the UFC, and he will be fighting Alex Oliveira, Cowboy Oliveira.
So can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah, when I saw that, but my first thought was, oh, that's an awesome fight, and then I had to sit back like, hold on, Cowboy, why do? Yeah, he did some stuff.
Yeah.
Like he did some things.
Some bad things apparently.
Yeah.
And was that ever cleared up?
I haven't researched this, and guys, like I said, we're recording this the night of. This wasn't really planned, so forgive me for lack of research. I'm gonna guess and say one of two things happened. Either he's not like officially, I guess, like at trial yet, and they're just, waiting for everything to sort out, and while that happens, he's just still fighting. Or they just kind of just didn't care. And I could honestly just kind of see either of those.
I mean, if we're being real, like, the UFC has just stopped caring about whether their fighters are in legal trouble or not. Des Green fought 3 times after he murdered 2 people.
Yeah.
Freaking BJ Penn is out here every, like, couple months still getting fights. because Lord knows we all need to see him fight. Despite the fact that he's out here also apparently getting like restraining orders put on him and like fighting dudes with machete and like laying praying bouncers. It's bizarre. He just straight up stopped caring.
Yeah, at this point, like the only way you won't make it to the octagon is just you just kind of have to get arrested beforehand. But even then, like,
Remember when Jeremy Stevens got arrested and then like he fought like a month later?
yeah, like this.
Like he got arrested like the day he was supposed to fight.
So like, dude, and I don't want to make this a whole thing, but like, I mean, because I know you can't really compare like the UFC to like the NBA. It's because UFC you have like different commissions and different different athletic commissions. It's kind of just it's run differently. But is there like not a I guess there's no like code of conduct. Like the only thing you really get in trouble for is a drug test.
I mean, like there used to be. Like, is Matt Hughes still the fucking like? Did Matt Hughes get hit by the train just like completely derail the UFC's like code of conduct because he was the guy in charge of enforcing it?
Well, yeah, I don't,
Mind you, like he's one of the least qualified mixed martial artists to hold such a position, but I have to imagine no one has filled that position since he got hurt
yeah.
because nobody cares.
Yeah, at this point there is no code of conduct. Run wild, do whatever you want, drink, beat up people, apparently murder people. It's all as long as you can make it to the octagon. It's
Like, who's gonna call them out on it? Like, really? Like, ESPN isn't gonna say shit. They want BJ Penn to fight.
I'll say that'll be one of those fights that I'll wait for and I'll just see how commentary handles it.
I mean, they're fucking talking about booking Jones right now, and it's like Jones has an issue going on right now. I don't know, like,
Well, he's a different case. He's gotten out of far worse, so I guess they could probably figure there's probably not even the need to bring it up.
I mean, like a week after the New York Times story about Conor McGregor comes out, Dana White's talking about, yeah, no, we're not gonna give him a title shot. We're gonna try to make this Cowboy Cerrone fight happen.
Yeah.
Friggin' like, nope, nothing matters. Like, if you could make it to fucking work, you can make it to work, I guess.
Yeah. Just don't get arrested before you get there. You know. Yeah, just make it in one piece, and you can throw on the gloves and do whatever you want. But that'll be a fight. But I'm glad Nicholas Dalby's back. Congrats to him. He's been outside of the UFC handling business, so glad he got an opportunity to come back. And the last trio of fight announcements, at least for the UFC, I have announced. Sorry, not trio, duo. This will be at UFC Washington D.C. We're gonna have Aspen Ladd versus Joanna Kunitskaya, and Claudia Gadelha versus Cynthia Calvillo. I meant to write this down, but I did not. Did you see the thing about Aspen Ladd?
Yeah, she got her bantamweight license revoked,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize they had like. I honestly don't know much about the licensing process other than you have to pass a medical and stuff, but I didn't realize that it was for like a certain weight class.
I want to say I'm gonna have to like find this on the fly. If I remember correctly, I can't remember if like she made weight, but then the next day she weighed in at like
153 pounds.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like that is okay. Hold on, I'm pulling up the article now. Okay, yep. UFC bantamweight Aspen Ladd will have to jump through a few hoops to face Yana Kunitskaya at 135 pounds after gaining 18% of her weight between weigh-ins and fight day for her bout against Durandamy. This is her California State Athletic Commission. All right, so it says the suspension doesn't rule Ladd out of a scheduled bout, with Kunitskaya in D.C. She can get cleared to compete at bantamweight if she can provide the commission extensive medical documentation to prove she's capable of fighting safely in the division. So I don't really know what that entails. I don't know how that whole process really works, but yeah, I don't know. I wonder, I don't know. I don't really follow Lad like outside of like when she's actually fighting. I'm wondering, is it actually a size thing? Is she somebody who should naturally be a featherweight, or is she just somebody who outside of the octagon like isn't taking care of themselves, I guess, as best as they possibly could?
I think she's a featherweight. I think that's what it just comes down to. I think she's just a featherweight. Like, you look at her, there's not a lot of places for her to lose weight. Especially if she wants to keep fighting the way she does, where overpowering her opponent physically is just a necessary part of her approach. So, yeah, no, she's a featherweight.
And that kind of sucks because, I mean, obviously you would want to go up to a healthier weight class because, for health reasons and, honestly, without cutting that much weight, she probably would fight, you would think, possibly would even be better at featherweight. But you just look at the featherweight division, and I could see why she's trying to cut so much weight to go to 35, because it's like, at least at bantamweight, you're going to have so much more opportunities just to fight in general, as to where featherweight is just kind of this desolate just wasteland. Now there's even no cyborgs. It's like, what am I even... There's Nunes, and, like, that's it,
I mean, all fairness, like, if I'm a fight Nunes, I want to be as least susceptible to getting my brain concussed as possible.
Very true.
And seeing as how the first punch Jermaine Geronimi landed on her knocked her senseless. Yeah, no, like, I don't need to see all that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the weight wrong and everything. Shit. Fucking 159 pounds.
I don't know. We'll see if she provides this extensive whatever they want her to provide. Maybe we'll see her at bantamweight, or this might be like the last fight at bantamweight. I mean, if you go to featherweight, I guess, I don't know. You got Felicia Spencer up there now. You got Megan. That's kind of it. Like
Farah dos Santos, but nobody knows who that is except for me. Yeah, no, like that. You'd want the UFC to sign more fighters, but they just got rid of the marquee 145 or so. Who knows how long they plan to keep a 145 around beyond just having Amanda Nunes have another division to fight in once a year.
Yeah, that division just never. I'm glad it happened, just for the sake of Cyborg, but it was just one of those things where it just seemed like they never really fully committed to it. Like they just.
Nope.
Yeah. But we'll see. So put an asterisk mark next to Aspen Lab versus Kunitskaya. That may or may not be a thing depending on how this how that shakes out with the athletic commission and what so have you. But either way, if those two fights do happen, that'll be going down in Washington, D.C. That's all I have for UFC fight announcements. For Bellator fight announcements, Connery Gracie will be fighting Oscar Vera at Bellator 225. And the other Bellator note, it's not a fight announcement, but something I thought was interesting. So I didn't know that Carlo Pedosali, he got cut. He's out of there. He's out of the UFC. And he got picked up by Bellator. And I thought it was kind of interesting because I definitely know why Bellator got him. Because, my God, we can't keep sending Alessio Sakara to Italy
And you
you
they can and they will.
Yeah, they can and they will, but it's like, Jesus Christ, man, you gotta find another guy. So, maybe they're hoping Carlo can be that guy, or just another guy when they go to Italy. He can be somebody they showcase. So I thought that was interesting that they picked him up. But the other side of the story that kind of sucks about him being released from the UFC is we always hear about fighters taking fights on short notice, and all 3 of his fights were on short notice. He got cut for it. And
that's what he gets.
They're right. And it's like, it's one of those things where, like, I hate to harp on Dana, but he always, it's a Dana thing. He says this. I'm not like pulling this out of the sky. When you get the call, you take the fight. Like, we've heard that phrase be uttered many a times. And so Pedersoli has taken this call on more than one occasion when he hasn't had a chance to have a full training camp. And now he's gone. So, like, I don't know. Make of that what you will. Make of that what you will.
Dana's a liar.
Yeah. Like, you can take the fight. Just beware of what can and possibly will happen to you if, it doesn't go your way. And I don't want to make this a whole thing, but, like, I feel like people towards fighters have this, I don't really know what to call it, like these superhero expectations. You need to be fight anytime, anywhere, any day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 1 week notice, 1 minute notice. And there are some people like that, I get it. But at the end of the day, like, you still need time to, like, prepare. Like,
you're a brand.
Right.
Like, and like your body and your fight prep, like,
that means something.
It means everything.
Yeah, like,
so,
so it's just, I thought that kind of sucked. But at least he landed on his feet over in Bellator. They'll have you in, don't worry, Carlo, they'll have you in Italy every chance they get.
They got 3 cards coming up October 12th.
He's gonna fight. He's gonna be on all 3 of them. Yeah, I don't know if he has a kickboxing background, but get ready, bro. They're throwing you in there.
I'm looking at their card right now, and I'm like, they have an Italian dude who's fighting in Ireland like 2 months earlier. I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Not even like 2 weeks earlier. Like, dude, just send them to Italy. That's all they care about.
How much money are they actually making over there?
Someone has to be paying for them to go there.
Because it really seems like they really make it a point. Like,
dude, according to them, they get like mad bank on the gate. I don't know, like, I don't know. Oh my God! I read the story from somebody who was like, "Oh, this is why they go to Italy and Israel and so and so." I don't. I don't remember the story off the top of my head though.
Somebody in Italy is throwing the bag. Somebody's got the bag.
Yep, Italy and Israel.
But either way, Carlo Pedersoli Jr. He's in Bellator now, and the last fight announcement, which I guess also may have a question mark / asterisk. Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua are supposedly rematching in December, but there are rumors floating around that Ruiz wants more money, and then there's also the other thing of it taking place in Saudi Arabia. If you don't know why that's an issue, go look it up. I'm not gonna get on the soapbox about that. That's a whole nother issue in and of itself. But so that might possibly be a thing, but not set in stone yet. So hold your horses. But
Andy Ruiz wants more money, which rightfully so, because apparently they're to have the fight in Saudi Arabia, somebody was willing to cough up $100 million, and Andy Ruiz is only guaranteed a $9 million purse. So
Yeah, no, I'm gonna need a little more of that. Definitely gonna need a little more of that. But yeah. So just put an asterisk next to that fight. It's probably gonna happen, but just it'll happen eventually, but we just don't know when. But that's all I got for fight announcements, and then for news, slow news week, not a lot going on. One quick news story: Herbert Burns, the brother of Gilbert Burns, got signed to the UFC after winning his fight on Dana White's Contender Series. I wanted to bring this up because I referenced him in a previous episode, but I actually mixed him up with another gentleman whose name I can't remember. But Herbert Burns, who I referenced before, was on a Titan FC card that happened, or I think it was earlier this year, and it was a card that Dana White was there for his, looking for a fight, whatever. And Herbert Burns had a good performance, and everybody just assumed like he's gonna get signed, and he didn't get signed. But he ended up on the Contender Series. Got a win, so got signed to UFC, and he's really been holding it down. Like, dude was in one championship at one point. He went 5-0. He beat Timothy.
that's the you could.
Yeah, beat him. For guys who don't know who that is, that's the gentleman who knocked out Eddie Alvarez in his one championship debut. Herbert Burns has a win over him. Dude's been really holding it down out here. A lot of people feel like he's been kind of getting snubbed and like not getting signed to the UFC. So he finally has his chance. Don't know if he really has an opponent. Pretty sure he doesn't have an opponent named yet, but we'll get to see him at some point. And the last bit of news, Frankie Edgar, who just recently, coming off of his loss to Max Holloway, announced that he will be dropping to Bantamweight. I wasn't too thrilled with this, but at the same time, I'm like, I'll watch and see how it plays out. I can't really say I was excited for it, but I'll reserve judgment and I'll just kind of see what happens. But I'm not. I don't know. I kind of don't.
It's like he's lost in his quest for the featherweight title. He's lost 3 times. He's lost. He just lost a dude who's still young. Theoretically, will hold the title for a while longer. Like I get why they're doing it, because Frankie, Henry has said for years, Frankie Edgar could definitely make 135, but he's 37 years old. He's going to be giving up so much speed to do it. Like, and not that featherweight's full of like a bunch of feather-fisted cats, but like, do you really want to see it? Frankie Edgar versus like Petr Yan?
Yeah, I was gonna say like
A weight drained Frankie Edgar versus like some of these like just big hitters.
a couple of years ago, had he dropped to 35, I think he would have been good. Now, like, after this division has really like kind of taken form and has become one of the deeper divisions in the UFC, like, bro, there are some killers at 35. Like, there are dudes at 35 who hit like 45ers. And like you said, you're giving up speed. Some of these dudes are still pretty big. Like, it's not gonna get any easier. It's not gonna get any easier. I don't know. I mean, he's Frankie. Can he get a couple of wins at bantamweight? Sure, he probably can get a couple. Is he gonna win a title? I don't see it. I don't see it.
Not with Triple C at the top of the division, bro.
Nah, Frankie's probably about 3 years too late, man. 3 or 4 years too late. Like, he should have been in bantamweight back when it was like Cruz and Faber and like Renan Barão was like still good. Like he should have been there back then, or maybe like a little bit after. But I think the window, I think that window closed now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. It's not that I don't think Frankie. I think he still has some left in the tank. It's just that I don't know. I just don't really see this going well for him. I don't see this leading to a championship run.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I'm not gonna hold my breath. But we'll see. I'll be interested. I'll have my eye on whoever that first matchup is. So I'll be interested to see who they pair him up with. But that's all I got for fight news and announcements. Like I said, not really a busy week, but in terms of quality, I pretty much like all of these fight announcements. Like these are all fights that I'm actually really looking forward to seeing. So second half of this year should be pretty fun. And as far as the cards that we'll cover tonight, like I said, PFL had a card, but it was light heavyweights and heavyweights, and Jared Rosholt versus Satoshi Ishii, and yeah, I'm not I'm not really down to cover that. But I'll give a brief mention of Invicta. They had a card, Invicta FC 36. That went down. What day was that? The 9th? Friday? I think. Thursday.
Wait, Invicta Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And
yeah, the night.
This main event was this. My bad. Featherweight or bantamweight?
Featherweight,
yeah. So this was headline featherweight world title match between Pam Sorensen and Caitlin Young. Unfortunately, I can't really give breakdowns of any of these fights because I didn't really watch the card at all. But I just wanted to give them a shout out. I have Fight Pass, so I'll eventually go back and rewatch this. But Pam Sorensen is now your Invicta FC featherweight champion. I didn't see the match, but I heard she put it on Caitlin. She defeated Caitlin Young via unanimous decision. Like I said, I didn't see the fight, but I heard Pam Sorensen put them things on her. So I'll have to go back and rewatch for myself. But congrats to Pam Sorensen, Invicta FC featherweight champion.
Yes. I didn't see it. Like I said, I only saw the first half of this card. So
bring it to the UFC. We need bodies. we need anybody.
So she can wrestle Megan Anderson.
Right. Bring her and Caitlin. Bring both of them. Like
Caitlin Young versus Megan Anderson to be like the curtain jerker or the featured prelim for that Australia Stadium card would be great, because they would literally try to kill each other.
Hey.
Yeah. Listen, that's all you need them to do. You don't need them to be good.
Right. we just need blood. Bring both of them, man. But congrats to Pam Sorensen, new Invicta FC featherweight champ. In the co-main event, we had Emily Ducote defeating Yanisa Morandin via TKO in round 1. We had Jessica Correa Del Boni defeating Lindsay Van Zant via split decision. Why does her name sound really familiar?
Lindsay Van Zant's the woman who submitted Rena at Bellator.
Okay. Right. Her and Jessica. I feel like I recognize. I've probably seen Jessica on another Invicta card.
Jessica?
I feel like I've heard their name somewhere before.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Invicta 36. Jessica as in Jessica Del Boni?
Oh,
yeah,
she was. She was Invicta and shooter.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen her. It might have been that Invicta card. I might have watched that one. Oh yeah, that was the Felicia Spencer card. So I probably did see her on that card. But she defeated Lindsay Van Sant via split decision. Moving down, Victoria Leonardo defeated Stephanie Gelchmeyer via unanimous decision.
From what I've heard, this was like an amazing fight that everybody should go watch. So go give it a watch.
There you go.
I heard there was a lot of blood and guts.
Hey, that's what we're here for. we here for the violence.
Yeah. But this is like the fight before the last fight I saw. So
And then we had, Elise Anderson versus Katie Saul. Elise Anderson won via split decision. And then we had Caitlin Salmons versus Chantel Coates. Caitlin Salmons won via rear naked choke in round 2. Is it that one of the fights you saw?
yes. Coates did an okay job in the first one. Like it was she's very much like an MMA. I hit really hard and I don't really have a lot of experience in like striking, but like I hit really hard, so like that's her whole thing. Kayla Simmons did a good job of just not getting hit clean, and then in the last like minute and a half of the second round, like she just managed to get to Coates' back and lock up a rear naked choke. Yeah, no. I was a little sad because like I like Coates.
Oh yeah, Coates was the one who took old girl's head off in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
She hits hella hard.
Yeah. she put her mind, body, and soul into them punches. But Caitlin won via rear naked choke, and then we had Erin Harp defeated Autumn Norton via split decision, and Julia Odolino defeated Megan Colley via unanimous decision. So that was Invicta FC 36. I have to go back and give that Victoria Leonardo fight a watch. But I mean, you know, if you guys got Fight Pass, go back, give it a watch. Invicta FC cards are normally pretty good, so go back, give it a watch, and hopefully Pam Sorensen and Caitlin Young can find their way to the UFC. If the UFC actually wants to make featherweight like a thing after all these years.
They don't.
They probably don't, but you know, if they do, you know, just 2 names you guys can just, you know, send them on over, man. Just send them on over. But that was Invicta FC 36. And with that being said, we can just go ahead and move on to the main event of the evening. UFC Uruguay and Montevideo, Uruguay. I'm gonna say that wrong. I'm sorry, guys. That went down tonight as of this recording because we're recording the same night. Headlined by Valentina Shevchenko and Liz Carmouche, who are fighting in what was an actual rematch. Their first fight was back in like 2010 in some regional promotion that I'm not sure of. So I don't know, but Carmouche won the first match via TKO, I think by like a doctor stoppage, something like that. Caught an up kick.
Yeah. She caught an up kick in a fight that she was winning, and the doctor stopped the fight on the cut.
So they rematched some 9 years later, and we'll just take this from the top. So Shevchenko vs Carmouche for the flyweight title.
This fight woke me up for all the wrong reasons because I was like, barely hanging on by a thread. But like, the more I watch this fight, the more I'm like, what is happening? Why did Liz Carmouche bother to go all the way to Uruguay to do this?
Coming off the Perry Luque fight, boy, was this
kick in the teeth.
Yeah, and you know what? I gave it a pass for the first round. I said, you know what? First round, feel out round. You know, Carmouche is kind of using some footwork. I'm not mad at it. She didn't really take a lot of damage. I'm like, all right, cool, I get it. First round, feel out round. It is what it is. That happens sometimes. Then the second round starts, and it's like the exact same thing. And it's like, all right, guys, you know, Liz Carmouche is doing all this in and out movement on the outside, and like periodically she'll throw a leg kick, maybe every 30 seconds. Shevchenko, who we know isn't really like an aggressor, really great at countering, but if you come to her, she'll light you up. But she doesn't sometimes really go out of her way to make things happen. She just kind of.
That's an understatement. She is like she is a born in the wool counter puncher / counter kickboxer. Like, there's very little aggression in her game, other than when like she has to score like some quick points. Like we saw her throwing those like Superman punches and stuff.
Yeah, like she had these little flashy moments to kind of. I mean, she was winning the fight, but she had these flashy moments to kind of like, all right, let me just kind of seal this, so nothing crazy happens with these judges. Like she caught Carmouche with like a 3-piece and dropped her. I can't remember if that was the second or the third round.
It was the third round.
Yeah, dropped her. Like I said, she did a Superman punch. She did one nice little combo that ended with like a leg kick. She did the spinning back fist, which I don't think landed completely flush, but it was a spinning back fist, so style points. And then she had the slam that I think that was in like the second round.
Like in the span of like a minute, Shevchenko drops Liz Carmouche, lets her back up, and then hits a fucking lateral drop on her. At that point, like, just cancel the freaking fight.
At that point, I was like, all right, Carmouche, like, I know you're not like the most aggressive fighter, but bro, you can put this away, man. Like, you don't need to make us watch 5 rounds of y'all just kind of dancing around each other, and periodically, every so often, somebody decides, all right, I'm gonna throw something.
What happened to the Liz Carmouche that fought like Ronda Rousey and Jessica Andrade, where she just got them down, got to the back, and was just like, I'm content to do this. Like,
Yeah.
where's the dog?
Yes, yeah, I guess I expected this fight. I didn't think it was gonna be like a barn burner or anything like that, but I thought this fight would be a little more of Carmouche working her way inside and maybe like clinching with Valentina to take her down, to make it like one of them kind of like just really kind of like ugly, kind of grimy fights, and it just wasn't that like at all. Like, I don't mind all the footwork she was doing on the outside, but you can't do all of that footwork and like not do anything. Like, there were just stretches where she just did nothing. Like, I'm just gonna move in and out and dance around outside, and like I said, I'll throw a leg kick every 30 seconds, but like that's it. And then I know you heard this. I don't remember what round. I think it was the last round. It was the end of the fourth going into the fifth, when she's in her corner and they're like, I believe you can win this fight, Liz. And I'm like, bruh, don't lie to her like that.
Dude, after the second round, they were like, you're doing perfectly. You're following the game plan. I was just like, yeah, can we talk? This is the worst game plan anybody's ever had to win any title ever, right? Like, it has to be.
Yeah, there was no yeah, I don't see if she was following the game plan. Like, Chief, this ain't it. Nobody win. You don't win titles like this. Like, you don't. You're not gonna win a title just kind of dancing around on the outside and throwing a leg kick every so often. Because she just had nothing else to offer. And I'm wondering if she didn't go for takedowns because she got manhandled when she got slammed. Like, maybe she felt that strength and was like, oh, I can't do anything with that. And I'm trying to find positives. I guess you have to give some credit to Shevchenko. I think kind of for Liz's performance, because at some point you would think later in the fight it's like, all right, I kind of just need to go for broke because I'm clearly losing on the scorecards, and I need to do something. But any time like it got real and it got heated, she got dropped, she got Superman punched. You know, she couldn't get in and do anything because she would get lit up, even if it was just like a really small brief moment in time. But so it's like, if I rush in, I get lit up. We had one mini clinch exchange, and I got slammed on my back for my troubles. She was out there kind of lost. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about this fight other than for 5 rounds, it was not aesthetically pleasing.
Like I'm like this is basically what I kind of expected because Carmouche is turned into a counter fighter and Shevchenko's always been a counter fighter, but like at the same time, it's just like I can't be too critical of Shevchenko, not because she couldn't have done more, but because like I'm so confused as to what the game plan was for this Carmouche. Like, what did they spent weeks getting ready for this fight, and like I don't know what the plan was. Like, what were they working on? Because it felt like at a certain point she was just fighting like to just not lose. Or not lose, but just like not get her ass kicked.
Yeah, to me that's what it seemed like. It's like just don't end up on a highlight reel. Which I guess, if that was the goal, I guess accomplished. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have a lot, honestly. It's not really much to really dive into about that fight. Shevchenko won via unanimous decision. She won pretty handily all 5 rounds. If you missed it, do you need to go back and watch it? Nah. Like, you can watch highlights, and the highlights will show you like the 4 semi-exciting moments that happened. You don't need to see nothing else. It was not a lot going on. And that was it. I don't think there's really much else to really deep dive into. So that was it, man. Valentina Shevchenko retained her flyweight title via unanimous decision over Liz Carmouche, and we'll see whoever the next person up is.
Hopefully they learn from this and they just throw somebody at Shevchenko who just has no freaking like self-preservation instincts like Liz Carmouche does. Just throw Jessica Eye back out there. Bug
No,
it.
that's not. We don't need that. She don't need that.
I need that.
No. We've talked about the gauntlet on this podcast. We just gotta do next person up. Whoever's on a 2-fight win streak, it's up to you. The world is in your hands. Go be all you can be. Try not to die. But that was the title fight. Wasn't that great? Not really anything else to say.
Wasn't good.
No, it was not good. That was average at best, and that's being polite. But moving on to a fight that did live up to the hype, that was every bit of violence that we thought it would be, left a man with a severely broken nose that looked like he caught one of those Mortal Kombat fatal hits. Vicente Luque and Mike Perry fought for the violent weight title in the co-main event. This fight gave me everything I thought it would. I did think one of them would get finished. I thought somebody would make it. Honestly, I'm surprised it went all 3, but I thought somebody by the 3rd would just kind of just be out of it. Like, they probably just would have accumulated too much damage and just kind of would have been like the Roy Lawler fight where they just get jabbed and it's like, bro, my face just fell off and I gotta stop. But nah, man, these 2 dudes, man, Luque and Perry, just hands for hands and feet and knees for 3 rounds. Really close fight. I thought Perry started off pretty good. He's landing an inside leg kick. He seemed I feel like he started off that first round like he was really fast. He was pretty crisp. Seemed a little quicker to the punch. But once the fight really got settled in, like, really both of them were landing good shots. I felt like Luque, to me, was a bit more, I don't know the word, I thought he had just a little more to offer in the arsenal. Like I thought he mixed like, cause he would throw knees every so often. Like I feel like he just kind of, he has just a wee bit more in the arsenal, and I think he's like a bit more technically sound. They're pretty evenly matched, but I just think they're like little small things that Luque does better. That I think that kind of helped him edge this fight out. But Perry was doing really good. He caught Luque with the left a couple of times. I'm pretty sure about a third, like both of them were pretty bloodied, but Perry was a little worse. But I just remember Luque doing things like he would land a knee every so often. I just thought he had just a little bit more kind of in his arsenal. But it was a really good. It was good to see from Perry, and we've said this in his last couple of fights. Like and they mentioned it during commentary. Like he's a wild man, and we've seen in his first couple of fights, like when he first got to the UFC, he's just kind of out there just throwing bombs. But he did show in this fight that he can slow it down. He can be technical. He can pick his shots. He can still brawl if he needs to. But good to see him like just not go out there and just kind of be like crazy reckless. But nah, it was an awesome fight. Just back and forth. Both guys landing shots. And boy, I think that was the third round where like Luque goes for the guillotine, and all of the blood in Mike Perry's body is just
drained,
just gone. Like I don't know how this man just didn't pass out. Like all of the blood in his body is just draining on Luque while Luque's going for this guillotine, and Perry gets out of it. And I think it was a knee that broke Perry's nose, and his nose just looked like the entire middle section of his nose just looked like they got pushed back into his face. It was disgusting. But no, this was an awesome, just really nice, contained chaos, like technical, just kind of violent matchup that we all kind of thought we would get. And it lived up to the hype. This was definitely probably one of, if not the best fight on the card. Got blood, hands, knees, feet. You had a little bit of everything going on in this fight. It gave me everything I wanted, and I can't complain.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Perry, for the most part, like when was the last time Perry fought? Let me just check real quick because I want to be 100% on this. So he fought like 4 months ago. So that's probably the longest break Perry's had in the UFC, if we're being real. So like you could see that he looked a little bit more fresh than we've seen him before. Like he had a little bit more like pep in his step. Was a little quicker. Worked a lot better with the jab. And like you said, he was throwing those like inside leg kicks, really chopping away at Vicente Luque. Wasn't throwing like 100% on every single one of his shots like we've seen in the past, and he might risk throwing himself out of the fight. But like you also said, Vicente Luque was just the more technical, the more process-driven, versatile striker who was able to just mix things together in a way that eventually just like overwhelmed and stupefied Perry a little bit. Like Perry was still landing, but just not with the same cleanness that he was early in the fight. Yeah, Luque, whatever, like slow starter, gets hurt fighting everybody he fights like in the first round, goes out there and actually doesn't get seriously hurt, which surprised me because I like my thought process for this fight was it's going to be a finish. It's probably going to be Luque late by either like TKO or sub, but it's only probably going to happen after Perry like knocks him down in like 2 or 3 times in the first round.
Right.
But yeah, no, stay composed. Never overcommit on anything, which I think is like a big reason why he didn't get knocked down here, or ever get like seriously too hurt. Like that's another thing. Like for as fucked up as Perry was after the fight, like Luque never went down, never really shelled up along the fence. It was just like, referee, please save me, or trying to get saved by the bell. This is a really solid all around performance. Like when they booked this fight, I was kind of upset that Luque wasn't getting a ranked opponent, but like Perry is probably better than fighting like Neil Magny or whatever, because for whatever reason people are drawn to Perry. And he's a name. And you get fights like this. Like I'm cool. Like I'm cool with Luke. I know Luke has to stay busy, but I'm cool with him not fighting again this year, because this is between this and the Brian Barberena fight. I can only imagine his brain is not doing too well. So, and Perry, like if anything, like they could both take the rest of the year off. I know Perry was getting. They were talking about commentary about Perry getting married, and like he was taking time off, which is good because that dude's brain is like all types of fucked up right now. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think it not like I said. I kind of want to see Luque get a ranked opponent too, but they didn't mention it during the commentary. Sometimes the name is just
more important.
more important, a little better. But at this point, was what 5 in a row, 6 in a row?
5, I think. Let me check. I'm gonna just say 5 because I'm feeling lazy.
So at this point, get a man his top 10, or 15, or whatever you got to give him.
Nah, man, give him a 10, top 10. Fuck it.
Yeah, let the violence go. Let the man let his hands go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Moving on down the card once again. At featherweight, we had Luis Eduardo Garagorri versus Humberto Bandernet. This was, I think, Garagorri's debut. He was the only fighter from Uruguay on the card, and he came to throw fisticuffs. There were just a lot of hands and feet thrown during this fight. I think you had mentioned it earlier before we started recording. A lot of looping kind of shots. A lot of like really just loaded up, kind of plant your feet and throw.
Yeah, not a lot of I guess thought being put into what was being thrown by either guy.
Yeah, no, they were just out here they was out here button mashing. Like they were just out here throwing. I'll give both of them props for having chins because they both ate some shots. But Garagorri just, I think, landed more. He hurt Bandernet a couple times. He throws the uppercut like a wind-up toy. I feel like all of his punches are like the wind-up toy. Like he cocks all the way back and just kind of, he just 100% mind, body, and soul into everything. This fight was unexpectedly fun because I honestly didn't remember. Well, obviously I wouldn't know Garagorri because it was his debut, but like I remembered Bandernet's name, but I couldn't like place a finger on the fights that I had seen him in. So this fight was like pleasantly surprising because it was one of those nice, just sometimes you just want a violent scrap to watch. Like you just want a fun, just a nice fun rock'em sock'em kind of fight. And I think this fulfilled that kind of void. I didn't say void, but this fulfilled that need. This gave us that. I just want to see two guys just kind of throw down. And good on Garagorri. Like you're in your hometown, you're the only guy on the card, and you gotta put on. Like I feel like all the pressure's on you. Like you're in the hometown, and you're the only guy from there on the entire card, so you gotta go in and show out. And he did just that, man. Dude, just all 3 rounds, just consistent violence for 3 rounds was pretty much what this fight was. So good on Garagorri's debut. A lot of times you hear about octagon jitters and people being nervous in their first fight. It ain't like there was none of that. or if he was, he got it out the way real quick because they just started throwing, and hands and feet started flying, and uppercuts started flying, and Garagori got the better of them for over 3 rounds.
Yeah, I watched this fight and I don't remember any of it. Like, I remember a bunch of loading up and throwing and somebody's corner begging for like leg kicks and just the guy not throwing them. I think it was Gavagor. What the fuck is his name?
Garagori.
Garagori. All right. Yeah, like him just not throwing them when his coach asked for them. But yeah, props to him, dude. Like, it's not. It's hard being the one guy from like your country to make it to the UFC, and then they put a whole fucking card in your country, and you have to win, or else everybody goes home sad.
Right.
So I'm really like, I really want to know why they chose Uruguay and not like Peru or Colombia or like one of these other countries. Like, maybe Uruguay just is like a better economy or whatever, but. It just seems like an odd choice.
Well, was this their first card there?
Yep.
I don't know. You got to tap on, got to chart some new territory every now and again.
Yeah, no, but they had like, you could just do it in Lima, where you have fighters who are actually from there and have like success and stuff. You know what I mean?
We'll see. Garagori opened the floodgates. He's gonna be the Uruguay I don't say mascot, but he's gonna be like the poster boy now.
I mean, maybe, but like he's also probably going to be gone from the UFC very soon. Like he's not very good.
I'm not gonna say gone. He might be one of those guys, kind of like they do with the China cards, where like you're only gonna fight when we come here.
Oof.
So if they come back to Uruguay next year, we'll see him. Actually, you know what though? No, I won't say that, because I feel like the way he fights, Dana's gonna like him. Like he'll appreciate that kind of style. So I won't even put that on him. We'll see him in another. He'll be back. Any guy who fights like that, he kind of has the Brandon Davis. That's his name, right? Contender Series dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of has that, I think, kind of going for him. We'll see him again. Dana likes those kind of guys. But no, solid for a debut though. I enjoyed it. I'm all down for some Rock'em Sock'em. And it's his debut, so I'll cut you a little bit of slack. Not sure how he'll do against higher level competition. Might not want to wind up on every single punch. But from an entertainment perspective, I appreciate it. So shout outs to Luis Eduardo Garagori. He got the unanimous decision across the board. Moving on down to 205. Volkan Oezdemir versus Ilir Latifi. A fight that has been booked and rebooked and booked and rebooked, I think like 3 or 4 times. These two finally got to, let one another have the smoke. And boy, oh boy, did Volkan. Like, I picked Volkan to win. And I was pretty confident in that pick because I figured like Volkan would be able to put him out. But he beat the bricks off of him.
Mm-hmm. Once Latifi couldn't keep him down, it was basically just a slow roll to the end.
Yeah, it was a very slow and painful. Like, he really went out there and just schooled Latifi. Like you said, Latifi couldn't do anything consistent with the takedowns, and when they were on the feet, Volkan just did a really good job of just constantly just pressure in his face, touching him up, getting in and out. Latifi didn't really have much to offer other than I can wing a punch or throw like a 1-2, but he didn't really have much. And I was a little surprised. I thought he would just have a little more firepower or just would throw a little more, but Volkan just boxed him up. Just like pressure, getting in and out, getting shots off, not really getting touched too much. Then he starts mixing it up with knees, and boy, Latifi is just getting battered with everything. Like, this dude is catching every strike under the sun. By the second round, it looks like child abuse. Like, by the second round, it's like, but this is almost hard to watch now. Like, y'all don't need to send this man out there anymore, because he is getting destroyed on the feet. Like, this is probably one, outside of all the performances where Vulcan like starts dudes in like 7 seconds. Like, this is one of the best Vulcan performances ever. And then the finishing sequence when I think he had caught him with a knee, had Latifi all discombobulated, then I think he caught him with a left against the cage, and that just kind of floored him, and that was pretty much the end of that. But Vulcan put an absolute clinic on Latifi. Just Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, that was the best Vulcan we've seen so far in the UFC. Latifi went out there and he had the game plan was to get the takedown and try to beat Vulcan up on the ground. And managed to slam Vulcan on his freaking head with that power double early in the first round, but like he couldn't do anything with it. He couldn't keep him down. And when they got back to feet, it was pretty clear that Uzdemir, the longer, quicker, more technical striker, was just not going to allow Latifi to get anything going. I want to say Latifi like cracked him a couple times, but it wasn't with anything like super clean or super hard. Yeah, just all around great performance. Vulcan stopped the 3-fight losing streak. Got a nice little highlight reel for his got a nice little KO for the highlight reel. And he's back in the winners column. Like, now he can fight I don't know. He said he wanted to fight Dominic Reyes again. Is that a fight you're interested in, or just kind of past it?
No, like 205 has a couple of other, I guess you call them newcomers. I don't know. Like guys like what's Alexander Rakic doing? Where's he been? Is that the right guy? Am I thinking the right guy? I can't remember if it was Rakic. I think it was Rakic. But I feel like they're just other like.
That's right.
Yeah, like a guy like him. One of these like newer faces, because there are a couple of guys like that. It's kind of why we're saying this about 205. So I feel like it hasn't been like this in forever. But there are a couple of guys out there in 205 who are kind of on the up and up, who could use a bigger name, and Vulcan would definitely give them a test because Vulcan's not going to be an easy fight for anybody. So I wouldn't mind seeing him against like a Alexander Rakic, or even like I don't know how long he wants to stay on the sideline, but like fight a guy like a Ryan Spann, like he might beat up Jimmy Crute. That might be too quick. I like Crute. I don't want to see Crute catch the hands like that. But yeah, I don't want to see the Reyes. I wouldn't want to see a Reyes rematch. Give him one of these newer guys who are kind of on the up and up and need a name to fight. Because Vulcan is going to be a stiff enough test for them to kind of be a litmus test to see like where they're at, if they're ready to really take that next leap or not. Or maybe who's I forgot. We mentioned this like the last episode. Who's Weidman fighting again? I can't remember.
Oh, what's his name? Shit, I know this. Chris Weidman. Let me just check. He is fighting Dominic Reyes.
Oh yeah. Let's see. I don't know. Well, I feel like if Weidman wins, they're just gonna track him to a title shot.
Yeah, why not?
Because I was gonna say I wouldn't mind seeing a Vulcan Weidman if Weidman were to get past that fight. If you're gonna give him somebody with a name,
Right.
But I don't know. I think he has options. He has enough options on the table that I don't think we need an immediate Reyes rematch. But we'll see. Either way, though, great just awesome performance from Vulcan. That was great. That was talk about just a slacking. Just he pulled out the paddle and he just spanked poor Latifi. It's weird seeing a guy like Latifi who's built like Kratos get beat up like he was like
Mortal.
like right like he made Kratos look human. Like Kratos got beat up and got his lunch money stolen. That's wild. But congrats to Uzdemir. Great win. Won by KO in the second round. Moving on down to middleweight. We had Rodolfo Vieira versus Oscar Pijota. So I have to let the listeners know I was having internet problems today. Ever since I got home from work, my internet was just randomly cutting on and off for long periods at a time. So I missed a pretty decent portion of this fight, and it only went 2 rounds. I remember kind of watching it in spurts because once my internet went out, I switched to Fight Pass on my phone, but the stream on my phone was a little choppy. So all I remember in this fight is in the very beginning of the fight, Pijota caught a pretty nasty quick jab, and then the stream would break up. And I just remember seeing Vieira go for a lot of takedowns, and it seemed like he was having success because every time my stream popped back up, Pijota was on his back somewhere. And I guess somehow that led to an arm triangle choke. I don't know what else happened because my internet was not cooperating with me.
It was. Remember when we talked about like Elias Theodorou and how there's just like always somebody for you to beat at middleweight. Yeah, this is kind of just that. Like Pijota did his best, but like his just instincts won out. Like Vieira was just able, like I should say he was just able to get him down at will, because that's not true. He had to shoot a couple times each round to get Pijota down, but like once he did, Pijota didn't do himself any favors. He liked to pay off his back. He wasn't particularly like in a rush to get up, probably because Vieira's on top of you. You don't want to make a mistake. But this just seems like a fight where like Pijota has like experience, but at the same time, like Vieira, the only way Vieira was gonna lose this fight is if he got knocked out with like one punch. He got the takedown, got to mount, beat him up a little, and then got the arm triangle. Like really simple stuff. A little robotic on the feet, but it is what it is.
It's middleweight, you can do that.
That this is like his 6th pro fight. So.
He got room for improvement.
Yeah, he's only 29, so. So good win, good all around performance. And that's basically it.
Well, Vieira won via arm triangle choke, second round. I'll let you head off this next fight because I know that's your boy. I'll let you talk about this one. And unfortunately, my internet kind of cut out a bit during this fight, which I was angry about because it was a fun fight.
Oh yeah, it's crazy to think that Enrique Barzola was like this really try-hard wrestler who wasn't particularly good at wrestling, but like he had an engine, so he would just go out there and shoot takedowns for like 15 minutes at a time. And now he's like a kickboxer.
Right.
Throwing like spinning back kicks and shit. But yeah, no, him and Bobby Moffett look good. Like you can tell kickboxing is not really their thing. Like this is obviously something they came to later in their careers, but like they are sound kickboxers for MMA. Barzola, when he had that jab going, when he could put like 3 or 4 punches together, he was like really, really taking it to Moffett, and Moffett was doing a really good job himself with the behind the jab, just with that range. Like Barzola is just really small for featherweight, so like no matter what he does, he's going to have to like jump to close distance.
Yeah, he kept leaping in with that left.
Yeah.
He leaped
Especially
in a lot.
that left hook, which is the ugliest punch he was throwing, and was just like tripping over his own feet. But like when he didn't actually have to jump in, and he was just throwing it from from the chamber, it was actually pretty nice. Showed off some like really nice head movement. Was like slipping bunches throughout. Would have liked to have seen him like counter more off those slips, or hit a pivot and reset, and force Moffitt to turn into a punch. Might have been able to like put Moffitt away that way, but just all around really good fight. If it wasn't for Luque versus Perry, this would have been a fight of the night in my opinion. I actually had no idea if they gave it fight of the night or not. They did not. That sucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, this was like the diet Luque Perry fight. Like, this fight had pretty much everything that fight had, probably minus the amount of blood that was spilling from everybody's face. But yeah, two dudes just throwing, just both guys landing good shots, both guys landing combinations. Barzola was I think he was trying to steal rounds at the very end, going for takedowns. Then he would literally do it at like the last couple seconds of the round.
Yep.
I just envisioned Dana White in the back just taking a pair of scissors to his contract. Like, we don't do that here. But yeah, I don't know if that really played a part in the judge's decision. But either way, good on Barzola just to steal the last couple seconds in a round. You never really know what judges are looking at. But no, like you said, it was a really fun fight. Both guys looked pretty solid. Has Bobby dropped 2 in a row?
I believe so, yeah.
And it sucks because like Bobby puts on at least the last 2 fights I remember. He's been in good fights where he'll put on like a solid performance and it'll be a close fight, but ball just kind of doesn't roll in his court. But no, like you said, outside of Luque and Perry, this probably was the best fight of the night. Like, two dudes who just kind of went in and they just pedal to the metal. We just gonna throw everything. We just gonna lay it all out here and made the best man win. And Barzola went out. He got the job done. How many is that in a row for him?
I want to say that's his first win. He was coming off a loss, I want to say. Yeah, he was coming off a loss to Kevin Aguilar.
Oh, yeah. Well, good to see him back in the win column. Yeah, like I said, he's gotten a lot better, putting on pretty good fights. And it sucks for Bobby because he seems to put on good fights also, but they just don't always result in a win. But I think he's looked better since the last few times I've seen him, so maybe they bring him around for another one, hopefully. But no, this was a really dope fight. This is how you kick off a card. Like, it's going to be a good night when you get this kind of scrap to kick the card off.
Especially since the prelims weren't particularly great.
Yeah. The prelims had some okay moments, but yeah, as a whole, it wasn't terrible. I'm not going to say it was that bad, but there were just some fights that were just kind of like, all right, it's just kind of a thing that happened, but
yeah, like the thing that made them palatable was the fact that they were happening like right after the other.
Right. But no, this
yeah, thank God for Fight Pass, not Fight Pass, for ESPN Plus, because with all those commercials, this card easily could have been over at like 1:30.
We'd still be watching it right now.
Exactly.
Carmouche and Shevchenko would be in round 3. And I'd be contemplating, like, do I even want to record this tomorrow? Like, do I even want to talk about this?
Do I even want to watch MMA anymore? Like,
right. But this main card was fire. Like, this main card was really good. There were, like, I can't even really talk the Vieira fight because I didn't really see it. Outside of the main event, which does bring it down because you kind of always want your main event to deliver, and it was kind of a dud. But outside of that, like, all of these fights were good. Luque and Perry was fire like we thought it would be. I had no expectations for Garagori and Bandone, and that was a nice violent scrap. Like we said, Uzdemir beat the brakes off of Latifi, and that was crazy to watch. You know, Vieira ended his fight in the second round with Piotr, and Barzola and Bobby Moffitt just threw hands like it was nobody's business. So, if for nothing, if you missed this card, main card was with heat, minus the main event. Don't watch that. You don't gotta do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Everything else, go back and watch. There was a lot of good moments. There was a lot of fists and feet and knees and uppercuts and elbows being thrown that you need to go back and watch. So, that was the main card. Moving on to the preliminary portion. Got Gilbert Burns versus Alexei Kunchenko.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but like Alexei Kunchenko is the most disappointing Alexander Shlemenko prodigy ever. No spinning shit. None.
Yeah, he did not. You would think trainer with Shlemenko. That's if you don't take away anything, but we spinning. Like
dude, you are a professional dreidel. That is your job. You're a fucking Beyblade if you are a Shlemenko trained fighter.
It's like those little, I forgot what they called. It was those little karate toys that you had to spin the knob to get them to like spin and kick.
Exactly.
Yeah, you train with Shlemenko. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, he wasn't spinning. He was not spinning. But good performance from Burns. He took this fight on short notice, I want to say, right?
Yeah, that's the 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. For a 2-week notice fight, and fighting above, because normally lightweight fighting at welterweight, I can't really take anything away from Burns. Like just putting those two things in consideration, this was a really good performance. And for Burns, I'll say, boy, does it just pay to be well-rounded. This fight made me so happy in that third round. I'll get to it. But first 2 rounds, or at least the first round, I say this in pretty much every Burns fight, but his striking has just gotten so much better since his first 2 fights in the UFC. He looks so...
Them kicks.
Yeah. He's so much more comfortable on the feet, and boy, he was killing Alexei with those kicks. Was it the first round where he dropped him? The kick?
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was the first or the second.
Yes, I believe it was the first.
Yeah, he was battering Kunchenko with the kicks. Dropped him with one of them. Like I said, he's really comfortable on the feet now. He can put together some decent combinations, a nice 1-2. He has decent power, and like I said, those leg kicks are brutal. He was taking it to Kunchenko for the first couple rounds, and then
he got tired.
Yeah, that 2 week notice started to kick in. Yeah, he got tired in that third. I don't know if something was wrong with his leg, but he looked a bit compromised. And Kunchenko, props to Kunchenko. I enjoy seeing when a fighter is down and they kind of know they're down and they kind of go for it. Because it seemed like that's what happened in the third. Like Kunchenko started to open up more, and there were moments where it looked like Burns was in trouble because he looked tired. He looked gassed. It looked like he was just kind of out there surviving. But he ate a lot of shots, and I was like, oh boy, Kunchenko. The chance for a comeback was there. He was landing some pretty good shots on Burns in the third. But boy, oh boy, this makes me happy. I have to do my little silent clap. Oh, I love a good fight IQ. I love when a fighter realizes, oh snap, I'm losing this round. I shouldn't do what I'm currently doing because I don't want this comeback to happen. Oh snap, I'm a really good grappler. I can do that. And that's just what he did. And like he didn't do anything crazy with it. I feel like it just bought him a lot of time. Because he was eating a lot of shots in the third, and it's like, all right, bro, you need to do something because Kunchenko's about to pull this comeback, and I don't think you want that in your life. And he just was able to I think he got a couple takedowns or got Kunchenko against the cage. He just did little things to kind of just stall the fight, slow it down, in an area that he was so much better than Shevchenko at. And it's kind of wild because I feel like in the last couple of fights we get so used to seeing Gilbert Burns strike because he's gotten so much more comfortable. But that grappling, that was his bread and butter. That was kind of like his selling point when he came to the UFC. That's what he was so good at. And he brought it out when he really, really needed it. Because we've seen so many other fighters be in a situation like that, and for whatever reason, they'll choose to I'm going to just stay on the feet and take my chances. Next thing you know, you get knocked out, you're looking in the sky, and, life isn't so fun anymore.
Yeah.
So, thank God for Gilbert Burns for being well-rounded and having a good fight IQ. Boy, was that fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. I really don't have that much more to add. It was a pretty straightforward fight. Yeah, no, like I said, the mud kicks, man. Like, they were really fucking with Shevchenko's day. And vice versa, because Shevchenko landed some in the third round where, like, it seemed like Burns' leg was hurt by one of them, or, like, maybe he had pre-existing injury or something, but, like, he was very ginger on one of them legs in the third. But yeah, no, props to Burn. Like, I like him at welterweight. I hope we see more of him there.
Yeah. Shouts to, oh, Lord. Scrolling down my timeline and Mike Perry's nose pops up.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, anytime he fights from now on, it's gonna break, like, automatically. Like, that's just something he's gonna have to deal with from now on.
Yeah. No bueno. But great performance from Burns, man. It just, anytime you hear the term fight IQ, go watch that fight. I want to see more fighters do that. When you know you have an advantage at something and it's getting a little real in there, fight ain't going so well, just go to your bread and butter. Especially if you know that you have that advantage over who you're fighting.
Right.
Just do it. But props to both of them. Though it was a pretty entertaining fight, so props to both of them. But Gilbert Burns got the win via unanimous decision. Moving on down to heavyweight, the gentleman that you had mentioned in the last podcast, Cyril Gane, went against Rafael Pessoa Nunes.
Yeah.
The fight went a little different than what I thought.
I don't think anybody thought Gane would take him down and freaking submit him.
Right. I was ready for some heavyweight fisticuffs, and I mean, you got a little bit of that, not really. like you could tell Rafael hits hard, but I don't remember him landing a ton.
I don't remember landing anything, to be honest with you.
He might have caught like an arm, but yeah, he never landed anything flush, but he was throwing really hard, and then Gane was kind of dancing around, being real being real nimble on his feet. But he didn't really land anything too crazy on the feet either. Yeah, it was weird. I expected a lot more. I expected a lot more to be thrown, and a lot more of just one of them would just connect. Probably more so on Gane's part, considering kind of his striking background.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take this. You come in and people expect you to be like this heavyweight striker, and obviously he's got other parts of his game that he's clearly been working on.
I mean, just for reference, he's only been kickboxing / doing Muay Thai for like 4 or 5 years. Like, he's not a dude who's been doing it since he was like 13, 14 years old. Like, he is still new to combat sports in general. So to see how much success he had in Muay Thai and like so thus far in MMA, it's like it is a really big endorsement for like his learning abilities and his ability to grow and everything.
Yeah, Lucas, the guy from Bloody Elbow, Lucas, then Bourdain said, Bourdain said, he's like Tyrone Spong when he came to MMA, but he had a ground game. It's like, yeah, the rest of y'all are screwed. Like, if this guy keeps if he keeps learning at the pace that he's learning now and just keeps getting better, boy, yeah, like, he might be. He's still really green, so you might have to give him a couple years. But he could be a problem down the road. I mean, because you just look at the dude physically.
I mean,
Like,
if you're 6'5", 250 pounds, you're just going to be imposing.
Yeah.
But there was one thing, like his striking was like it reminded me a little bit too much of JDS. In that like, it's just a jab followed by that big chopping right hand, and right now I'm just gonna chalk that up to like it's my USA debut. I don't want like it's my fourth pro fight. I don't want to like embarrass myself and get knocked out or something. So I'm going to hold on to some of my tools. Like I don't think he threw a leg kick in that fight. So I can see that being the reason. But yeah, really impressive just reversal at the end there where he got taken down and just kept going and got on top for that arm triangle. So props to him.
Yeah. Well, we keep an eye on him. He might be somebody to watch in the near future.
Jesus.
Yeah. We'll see how they do. I guess like matchup wise. I never know how matchups work at heavyweight. Heavyweight's weird. Just feel like they operate on their own set of rules. But we'll see how they do with them matchup wise. Like I say, he's still pretty green, so no need to rush him or do anything crazy. But we'll see how he progresses. But so far so good. So Cyril Gane won via arm triangle choke in the first round. Moving on to women's strawweight, Marina Rodriguez versus Tecia Torres. This was honestly probably looking at the card on paper. This is one of the fights probably I was really like most excited to see. Man, poor Torres. Like,
Man, she does it to herself.
Man, like,
why? Well, like I get that you're really strong, but you're 5'1". Why are you going to the clinch with all these like Muay Thai fighters who are literally only better than you in the clinch?
Yeah, she, especially towards the latter half of the fight, like, Marina was doing work in that clinch, boy. Like,
I'm not sure she ever threw an actual punch whatsoever, but like when she was able to just march down Torres and just get her on that fence, just work.
Yeah, for 3 rounds, just straight work. And boy, like when she gets in the clinch, boy, she gets busy with them knees. Like she was getting busy in that clinch. Yeah, it sucked for Torres because probably about a round and a half into the fight, you kind of realize like, all right, the clinching ain't working. You're really iffy on closing distance, and even when you do get inside, you're not landing like really consistently enough. And it just became one of those things where it's like, I don't really know how you're gonna. If this fight stays on this trajectory, I have no idea how you're gonna win.
Right.
Because what you're doing so far isn't really. It's not really amounting to everything. And I almost went on her end because as small as Tecia is, like she is really strong. And I've seen her before, like she can get into some grappling exchanges with people that are bigger than her because she is pretty strong even for her size. But it just was not working this fight. Like it did not work. To be honest, I'm actually surprised Marina didn't piece her up a little more. Was it just me? I felt like Marina didn't throw like a lot of jabs in this fight.
No, she does not box like at all.
Yeah, because I was looking this and like by like the second round, I was like, she probably could really put it on Torres if he just flicked the jab out and just got a couple combinations going. Because it just seemed like most of the action did take place when they decided to clinch, or they just happened to lock in and get in close quarters for a few seconds. But if she would have just popped a jab out every now and again and followed it up with something, she probably could have, I ain't gonna say got Torres out of there, but she could have abused her a lot more.
Yeah.
To be honest, so I worry about that with her going forward. Like I hope because she's really talented, but like you kind of want, especially somebody with like her size and just the way she's built, like you need to be jabbing people. Like you need to be jabbing people.
Yeah, no, that needs to be a part of her game from the outset. Not a lot to add. Her, you know, no. I feel bad for Torres. It's like 4 in a row, I think now. 4 losses. Big freaking turnaround from arguably beating Rose Namajunas for like a second time, but apparently she's taking a break to go focus on like doing bodybuilding stuff.
Gee, that is 4 in a row.
Yeah, so like we won't be seeing Cesar Torres for a hot minute. So,
I mean, to her credit, well, I mean, this is a testament to kind of how good strawweight is. Her last 3 opponents, Weili Zhang, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Jessica Andrade. Like, that's a nasty 3 fight. Like, that's rough. That's rough for anybody.
yeah.
But strawweight is killers. It's a lot of talent down there. But good on Marina, biggest win of her career. Won it pretty handily. Definitely, though, still has things in her game that she probably needs to improve on and add to her arsenal. But either way, that's a really big win. Tisha's a name, somebody who's fought the best of the best. So we'll see what happens with Marina. But she won via unanimous decision. And this is the part of the card where my memory
Fade.
yeah, like it takes a hard nosedive. At flyweight, Rogerio Bontorin versus Raulian Paiva Franzau. All I remember in this fight is that Bontorin had a cut like by like his cheek that was pretty nasty, and the ref stopped the fight so they could look at it. And then probably about 20 seconds later, Paiva had a cut on the top of, I think it was his right eye, and you could see the inside of his brain.
That was deep.
Yeah, I forgot. Did he get kneed?
You got need.
Yeah. That's one of the nastiest cuts I've ever seen.
Props to Bontorin, who got hurt and had a hematoma and got cut open himself in like the first 30 seconds of the fight. And the ref has to stop the fight and restart the fight and then restart the fight again because he restarted in the wrong location. Paiva gets up. Bontorin just pulls a Mike Perry, just freaking slams him on his head. Like, and then when he gets up, he knees him, and then proceeds to like follow up with it. And before he can stop him the normal way, the referee steps in to stop the fight so they can check on Paiva, and that's when they stop on the cut.
Yeah, and I'll say good on the ref. Like, in real time, it was kind of wild because it seemed like the ref stopped the fight like every 20 seconds. But good on the ref for correcting his mistake with the position change. And good for stopping for that cut because that was nasty. Like,
yeah,
that would have gotten so much worse if they would have kept going.
Yeah.
So, especially in the age of what's been happening lately, fighter safety, and when you see a cut like that, like you can't argue against that, bro. Like you can't be fighting with half your, I don't even know what you call it, half the meat over your eye just hanging out. But yeah, flyweights continuing to be violent. So congrats to Rogerio Bontorin. Probably not the way he wanted to end the fight, but kind of is what it is. Moving on to Bantamweight, Chris Gutierrez versus Geraldo de Freitas.
All right, so this is the one I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either. I think one of them had yellow trunks. I remember that part. I think this was a fight where one of them had yellow trunks, and you know what? I might be, if I'm mixing this up with the Vargas fight. Was this the fight where they mentioned like the dude was going through like a child custody battle?
That is Chris Gutierrez. That's what I remember.
Okay, yeah.
Like All right, sensitive subject here. Because I know there are a lot of dads out there fighting for the right to see their kid, and they're not complete human garbage. But at the same time, the phrasing of how like Bisbing was talking about like his situation made it seem like it was kind of Chris Gutierrez's fault. And I'm not sure if that sounded like Bisping just like explaining the story or the parts of the story he got from Chris secondhand, or him repeating verbatim what Chris told him. But it was just like, oh, he's here to show that MMA is a respectable, career choice if you want to raise your kid. I'm like, and then he was talking about, yeah, you want your life to be like stable and all your friends and stuff to be like cool and legit and like not like chaotic. I'm like, what type of life was Chris Gutierrez living before he started to fight?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, and I don't know if any if I don't like I said I don't know like how true or not any of that is, but like something's up there, right?
It's who?
Like something has to be up there for like.
Yeah, I feel like that was that because the audience, we don't know like the particulars of the situation. That might have just been something they could have like. You can bring it up in the post fight. That's fine. You can say what you want in the post fight. But I don't know. Maybe that could have been something they could have just kind of left alone. Like, we don't need to know this man's personal.
I mean, I got an article here from MMA Fighting from November 2018 that goes into a little bit. One particular aspect of his custody battle that stung Gutierrez was that his career choice was used to build a case against him. Allegations were made about Chris Gutierrez's behavior and his capacity to potentially cause harm due to his martial arts training. Gutierrez could not go into exact detail about the nature of these allegations, but he voiced his displeasure with the system and how he feels it targets individuals who fit his profile. Like,
so they tried to hit him with the you fight, so you're like a violent. I guess that's kind of what I'm getting from that. Or at least that from his perspective, I guess that's what he's saying, that they're trying to put on him and label him as.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it.
I like. My God, like. I think it's just because like I'm on Twitter too much and I see like divorced dad Twitter a lot.
Yeah. So you got a bad impression.
And yeah, so and like the language overlaps so much, it just feels icky.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things from the outside looking in. Like, we don't really know the particulars of.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, it's kind of it's hard to even really comment on.
But it's just odd when they bring it up and it makes them sick.
I mean, I'll just say, as long as he ain't out here doing nothing wild, I hope dude can see his kid.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that. But yeah.
I'm just saying, like, the way this story is phrased, it just kind of makes it seem like there's a lot more to it that we just don't know about.
There probably is. It probably is. It was wild as we know more. We know more about that situation than what happened in the actual fight.
I mean, I remember for stretches of it being like, Chris, you have to actually like commit to doing stuff if you want to win this fight. Like, get off the fucking cage, son of a bitch. I'm sorry, I'm really tired.
Hey, that's more than what I don't remember.
Because
Like I said, outside of the yellow trunks and that storyline, I don't remember anything about this fight.
I do remember liking Chris Gutierrez in his first fight in the UFC against was the Canadian dude, or am I just making the Canadian part up? Ryan McDonald, who is not Canadian. He just has Rory McDonald's last name. But yeah, I remember watching that fight and thinking like, oh, this dude has like a lot of nice like skills and like they're already built it, and like in this fight I was like just turn it up. Like you're not gonna win against this dude if you're fighting off the cage, and he did, if my memory serves me correctly. I don't know why this is the only fight I don't remember.
Oh, well, I hope you remember the next one because I don't remember that one either.
I mean, it was pretty straight. Like, Chris Gutierrez won by split decision, by the way. But this next one, Alex De Silva versus Rodrigo Vargas, it was basically Alex De Silva taking Vargas down repeated. Like, I shouldn't even say repeated. He took him down like once each round, and it just happened to be enough to keep him there for the entirety of each round. And it was a lot of Michael Bisping be like, Vargas is normally a very fun fighter to watch, but you gotta stop takedowns, bro. You gotta work on your ground game, in my personal opinion. A lot of that. And then De Silva would get to Vargas's back and just not be able to finish because turns out it's really hard to like knock in a rear naked choke once you're already at somebody's back. Like the choke has to kind of be built into the back take, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So like if you just like lock somebody down, like it's and they're like a decent enough defensive grappler, they'll be able to stop you from grabbing their neck. So I mean, Vargas had like 20 seconds of success where he escaped the body triangle at the end of the first round and managed to like flip over, stand up, and start throwing ground and pound. And then he immediately tried to go for a takedown in like the second round, and ended up like falling on his back, and with De Silva on top of him. So yeah, small victories.
There you go. That's weird. It's so weird how you can watch an entire fight and then you just can't. You just can't recall. It's like I gave this fight 15 minutes of my undivided attention, and I don't remember anything that happened.
It's what happens when you watch like 1,000 fights a year.
Yeah, they just run into each other. You got to stand out. If nobody's eyes hanging out the socket, you just kind of you just kind of forget about it.
I mean, like, what's the difference between this fight and like all the other fights where somebody gets taken down and can't get up because they are not a very good grappler?
Right. Oh boy. But Alex De Silva won via unanimous decision. And the last fight on the card, Veronica Macedo versus Poliana Viana at flyweight. This fight did not last long at all. I don't remember it no, I actually do remember most of the fight, 'cause not a lot happened. Like,
yeah, Poliana Viana landed like a really nasty body kick, immediately shot for a clinch takedown, and then somehow from half guard, Veronica Macedo managed to get an armbar attempt.
right.
On like her second attempt too. Like, you don't normally go for the armbar from like half guard, and even less frequently, you don't normally hit it. But Macedo managed to do both.
I'll say, don't tell her that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she yeah, that literally was the whole fight. That was it. Nothing else to really add. Um, good on Macedo. That was a pretty nasty armbar too.
Mm-hmm. Got her to scream and everything.
Yeah. So that was that fight. Macedo won via armbar in the first round. That was the card.
Yay!
There we go. We made it. that was UFC Uruguay. Like I said, man, it was a good card, man. The prelims were a little eh. Minus the Gilbert Burns fight. Go watch that. Go watch Cyril Gain just because he might be somebody to keep an eye on. Go watch the Marina Rodriguez fight. Just that was a big win for her. All the other fight and the Macedo armbar because it was pretty vicious. All those fights in between that you can kind of skip. But that main card was, like I said, outside of the main event, which unfortunately was a dud. Everything else in that main card was heat. There was a lot of quality violence to go around, and we got a lot of good performances. Everybody showed up, man. A lot of people showed up and showed out. So that was UFC Uruguay. Go back and watch the fights we mentioned, and definitely go back and watch that main card because it was heat. There's a lot going on, and that was it. So that was UFC Uruguay and Invicta FC 36. I don't have it pulled up anymore, so I hope I got that right.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Go back and watch what we mentioned. As for upcoming cards, next week, August 17th, UFC 241. Got Daniel Cormier with the rematch versus Stipe Miocic. Also on the card, you got Nate Diaz and Anthony Pettis, which I still don't believe until they make the walk. Yoel Romero versus Paul Acosta and the superhero contest. Gabriel Benitez versus Sadiq Youssef. Derek Brunson versus Ian Heinisch. Devontae Smith is not fighting John Makdessi. Makdessi dropped out, and I cannot remember who replaced him. But it's somebody else. And you got Corey Hagan versus Rafael Sunsao. That should be awesome. Sabina Mazo, Shayna Dobson, Brandon Davis, Kyung Ho Kang. Looks like a pretty solid night of violence. You got I guess real quick, you got DC winning the rematch.
Yeah. Just Steve hasn't fought since the fight, so like I don't even know what type of like shape he's gonna be in. Like. So yeah, DC by knockout again, I guess.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really surprised that DC's had the success at heavyweight for anybody who paid attention to him when he was in Strikeforce. This is kind of what he was doing really well in Strikeforce. He was tossing people on their heads more, which he still did in the UFC. But it's just not surprising that at heavyweight in the UFC, he's been as good as he has. 'Cause dude's literally, he's a GOAT. He's one of the all-time greats. So, but that card looks pretty solid. So definitely looking forward to that. One Championship has a card on the 16th next week called Dreams of Gold. I don't know if there are some more kickboxing. Because on Sherdog, they only show the MMA fights.
Right.
But we got Nong Stomp versus Ashiroka. Thon Lee from LFA versus Kotetsu Boku. Alex Silva versus Stefer Rahardian. And then there are a lot of names on this card that I cannot pronounce, so I'm just not going to pronounce them. But, One Championship puts on really good cards. You just got to get used to Chevello telling you how many people in the crowd and in the ring or whatso have you are world champions. You just got to get past that. And it's normally a pretty good time.
Yep.
Nothing coming up for Bellator. They're quiet until the 24th.
But there is a Rising card next week.
Ooh.
Yes.
Which one is that?
That is Rising 18. It will feature the main event between Kyoji Horiguchi and Kai Asakura.
Oh, yeah.
As
Ooh,
as well as a fight between Ayaka Hamasaki and Suanan Bunsum. Victor Henry versus Trent Girdham. Takeya Mizugaki versus Manel Cape. John Wayne Parr versus Danilo Zanolini. Kana Asakura versus Alicia Zapatella. Jared Brooks versus Haru Ochi. Justin Scoggins versus Kazuma Sone. I versus Tabitha Watkins. And a lightweight Grand Prix qualifying round between Hiroto Uesako and Yves Ledoux from France.
Shout out to Alicia Zapatella getting the rising look.
Yeah. I thought Seihei Ham was going to be on this card, but apparently she's going to be in the one in October. So.
I mean, she just got done taking somebody's soul, so. You know.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're having her fight Miyu? Miyu's like 45. What the fuck are they doing to this poor woman?
Miyu about to catch them hands. Boy, what Sohee Ham did to that last woman, probably like she should have gotten locked up for that. Like that, she should have had to spend like just overnight in jail. Like you didn't have to beat her up like that.
Like God, this woman's brother just fucking died, and they're just like, here, go fight Sohee Ham.
Yikes!
Like, God damn.
Hard knock life, man. Eesh. Well, that's going down next week.
Oh, life sucks.
Yeah. That'll be going down next week. So, you know, as always, we'll be back to talk about the violence. Ain't boxing going down?
It's August, so I'm gonna say no, but I'll look it up anyway because we gotta be thorough.
I feel like we always mention Glory, and I never see if they have cards.
I think that I think we checked last week and like they didn't have a card for the date until like December.
Oh yeah, you just said that. Yeah.
Not really. Again, not a lot of boxing that anybody would care about. Couple of women's fights. God, do you know Tim Su or Siu? Or I never learned how to pronounce his name.
Does not ring a bell.
He is the son of Kostya Sayu. Yeah, I'm fucking garbage with these like Soviet names. But basically his dad was a former world champion who fought like who did he fight? He fought McCullum, I want to say. He fought Ricky Hatton, fought Shamba Mitchell, Zab Judah, Julio Cesar Chavez, Vince Phillips, like Roger Mayweather. Like his dad was like the real deal. Did he not fight McCollum? Could have swore he fought McCollum. I was gonna go watch that fight tomorrow. But yeah, like his dad was like a big time world champion boxer. And he is slowly but surely trying to make his way up the ranks. I have not actually watched him fight yet, but you gotta start somewhere, and he's 13-0, so.
There you go. So, there'll be fisticuffs and violent happenings next week. So, get in where you fit in, and go watch some nice quality violence. And we'll always, of course, be back to talk about it. But that's all we got for today's episode. So we can go ahead and close with parting shots and shout outs. I'm going to give a shout out to a gentleman, a high school basketball player named Chet Holmgren. Dude is nice. Like, this kid, He is a 7-foot junior from Minneapolis. There's a clip of him online playing Steph Curry. He gave him a nice little crossover and finished with a dunk. Probably won't hear more about him until next year, so the 2020-2021 season. But he looked like he's gonna be a problem. Like kid's like 7 foot, but he can move for a 7-footer. This kid's gonna be a problem. Definitely, obviously he's so young, so he need to get some meat on his bones. But this kid's good, man. He is really good. So if you're a basketball fan, look up Chet Holmgren. Probably somebody that you'll be hearing about in the next couple of years. Hopefully he doesn't go to Duke when he goes to college. Go somewhere else. Don't go there. But shout out to Chet Holmgren. That kid's a monster. Shout outs to some of the albums that have come out, I guess. Black Milk's album Dive is pretty good. Actually, no, it's not an album, it's an EP. But his EP Dive is pretty good. There's another album. Can't remember the name. I'm gonna find this because it's in my Spotify search history. I'm gonna feel bad if I don't give him a shout out. Shout outs to Rhapsody. She's got an album coming out by the end of this month. I don't remember the day, but she put out a track listing and the cover art up. So go give that a look and definitely support that album when it comes out. Shout out to Zoe. He's a producer. I can't remember from where, but if you're familiar with Foreign Exchange, Fonte, that whole like collective, he's done a lot of songs with them. Zoe, Z-O with an exclamation point. He has a new album called Forefront. So if you like R&B, kind of jazz, something a little more smooth, give that album a listen. It's a pretty short album, but it's a really good listen. So that's all I got for shout outs. And I'm going to throw a parting shot for all my gamers out there. If you're a gamer, specifically, if you play Super Smash Brothers, there's been a new character floating around. This new guy named Hero from Dragon Quest, which I don't play, so I don't really know about him. But I'm not a fan. This Hero guy's trash. If you use Hero online, you're trash. And nobody loves you. I'm sorry. That was mean.
Wow.
That's kind of true. This Hero guy is one of the cheapest characters. Oh my god. Like, he's just one of those guys that, like, when you see him online, it's like, why did you pick him? Like, the dude is so cheap. Like, so cheap. Like, ridiculously cheap. So don't use Hero, man. Hero's trash, and you're trash if you pick Hero. Do better for yourself. Stop picking the guy who can hit me and get me to 115% damage in like 3 hits. Like that. Oh my god, he's been pissing me off like all week. Every time I play online, like Smash has these little like online tournament mode thing that they have now.
Right.
I got to the semifinals of a tournament. Guess who I lost to? This little dude comes out. Every time I see him online, I lose. I don't think I've beaten a Hero yet since he's been out. And it's only been like a week. This dude is ridiculous. I hate him. I hate everything he stands for. I don't even know what I know what Dragon Quest is, but now I don't like Dragon Quest because I don't like him.
Damn.
So he's trash. If you use him, you're trash. Pick somebody better. Stop using the cheapest character.
What did Akira Toriyama do to you?
Listen, man. This guy, he is a terror. Like, just, I don't even know if you really play Smash or care about it, but if you just see gameplay footage of him, you'll understand why he is so cheap. He's that guy that, like, you would use if you wanted to play the game, but you didn't know how to play.
It sounds perfect to me.
No, he is. Oh my god! If Hero was a real person, we would fight. He probably would beat me. Actually, he definitely would beat me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
but I would.
If he's beating all these.
Yeah, yeah. He would give me the blues. But I would hate him for an eternity. So, parting shot to Hero and anybody who uses Hero in Smash Brothers, especially if you play online. You are the bottom of the barrel, just you're a bad person, and you should do better for yourself. That's all.
Shouts to Adon Gonzalez. So we're recording like right after all the fights happened, and I guess during the ESPN Top Rank card. Well, this is probably over by now. But for those who didn't know, two-time Olympic gold medalist Robeisy Ramirez from Cuba made his pro debut today. Super talented dude. Absolute, like, has all the potential in the world. Fucking blew it in his first pro fight. Lost to this dude named Adon Gonzalez, who was fighting out of Colorado. 4-2-2 record. Comes out in the first round as Ramirez was pivoting and like ducking back from one of Gonzalez's shots. Gonzalez hits the corner and hits him with a hook and proceeds to drop him in the first round. Yeah, it was a flash knockdown. I don't think Ramirez was really hurt, but it set the tone for the rest of the fight where Gonzalez would fight really, really hard, and Ramirez would pretend to fight really, really hard, and just use no jab and no defense, and turned into a mess. And Gonzalez won on like 2 of the judges' cards, I believe. Did he win all 3? Point being, he took a decision, probably changed his life. I don't know by how much, because Ramirez isn't like a really big name outside of like weird people like me who watch Olympic boxing. But yeah, no, huge upset. Like one of the bigger ones of the year. So props to Gonzalez for that. Do I have another shout out? I did, but I forgot what it was. Should really write these down. Shouts to all the listeners out there who made it this far.
There we go. We say this far. It's probably one of the shortest episodes we've ever done.
I mean, but we also started it off by talking about fucking Shevchenko versus Carmouche too.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, you guys had to.
Oh, you know.
You had to go.
Oh, you know what? Shouts to shouts to new Rocco's Modern Life. That's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that. I'm gonna save it until probably until tomorrow. Just give myself something to do.
Yeah, I might watch it. Might watch it tomorrow on the bus.
Yeah, it's only like 40. I think it's only like 45 minutes. Yeah, if you guys don't know, man, Rocco's Modern Life, one of the GOAT cartoons. Probably wasn't really a kid's cartoon, but hey, what do we know?
I mean,
what was a kid's cartoon? Because none of those cartoons.
Ren and
really...
Stimpy was a kid's cartoon, and yeah.
Yeah.
And now John K's a pedophile.
Ren and Stimpy was whoosh. But yeah, shout out to Rocco's Modern Life, and I've heard it's gotten good reviews, so that's a good thing.
The only people that hate it are the people, the wrong type of people. So it's all good.
Oh, speaking of shows, sorry, I don't mean to make this a whole segment, but it is a segment. But shout outs to the show Wu Assassins, which I think is on Netflix now. If you guys are looking for your martial arts fix, go give that a look. Shouts to Iko Uwais, who's in that series. If you don't know who Iko Uwais is, if you've never seen Marintal, if you've never seen The Raid Redemption 1 and 2, Iko has been on a really good run of action flicks as of late, and it's been really dope to see everybody from The Raid has been getting like a lot of Hollywood roles. Like Iko is over here and doing TV shows. Yaya Ruhan was in John Wick 3. I think he was also in Star Wars. I can't remember which one, but a lot of like that Indonesian scene of like people who've been making action movies over there have been like breaking it into the U.S. market. It's been really dope to see them like come over here and kind of start to build names for themselves and have success. So shout out to Wu Assassins. I haven't watched it yet, so hopefully it's good. I hope I ain't shouting out something that's trash. But
Oh, you know what? I did actually have like a real world shout out, real quick, to the people protesting over in Russia, in Puerto Rico, in Hong Kong, trying to make their worlds a little less shitty. Just props to all of you. Just shout out. So, I'm sorry I don't have a more poignant, articulate shout out, but I am dying.
yeah, it's 2:10 in the morning. we go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, man. So that's all we got for today's show. So as always, give us a listen. SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. Give us a look on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page, as well as the Instagram page, and send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. That is all we got for you guys today. So as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And until next time, we will catch you guys later.